when at the end of your trip and you're all tired, they're like, hey, come in for an interview. I want to talk to you. Why are you in Russia? Will I have trouble just being an American? And that's really at the border, and it kind of stays there, right? So my experience has been, I've been stopped 3 times at the border over a 10-year period or so. So a lot of people are asking, will I be stopped at the border? Will they let me in? Will I be denied? And I'm like, if you have a valid visa, you know, you'll be fine. The only issue comes when at the end of your trip and you're all tired, they're like, hey, come in for an interview. I want to talk to you. Why are you in Russia? And it's like, ugh.
And you're tired and you have to sometimes wait for the interview. It's only happened to me twice, and I happen to, myself, I've been traveling back and forth between Russia and the US and Europe a lot lately. You know, unlike you haven't been here in a while. I've been 10, 15 times in the last less than a year, you know.
And through different border points.
Yeah, different, I mean, you know, from Dubai, from Turkey, from Finland. No, I think those are the main 3.
The questioning at the border, what kind of things do they ask?
The first time when I actually had the real sit-down interview, they just wanted to know what I was doing, who am I, what's my background, was I in the military? I happened at that time to be married to a Russian girl, so that probably helped me, you know? But if you're open, they were very professional, they were cordial, and they just wanted to see what you're doing. When are you coming? How long are you going to be here? What are your plans? Who do you know in Russia? Are you going to be meeting somebody? I happen to have American business. You know, they asked about work. Like, what do you do for work? How do you take care of yourself? Are you going to be working in Russia? And I said no. And I just pulled up our company information and even our website, and I showed them, and they were like, okay, cool, wrote it down. Yeah, that was it. It was nothing crazy. If I had happened to be in the military or something, I don't know what kind of other things they could get into. But for most people, it's going to be very straightforward.
Right.
Like with me, you just, who do you know in Russia? What connections do you have in America? What do you do for work? Where are you going? Who are you meeting? Why? How long are you here for?
Sure.
Pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, you know, those 3 times when I was questioned at the border, I feel like I had to tell them my life story, like leading up to the point, what's my connection with Russia? Why am I here? What's my, you know, my job and things like that. And after they get that information, I think what they do is they'll determine, is he a threat, right? Is he some kind of threat or not? But you mentioned also before we filmed, you said that now if they ask you again, you say, hey, I'm already in your system. I already told you everything.
Yeah, so they have started, maybe tried to start checking me. So I would come in through the passport control. Yeah. And then the first signal is when they pick up the phone. So usually they just do their thing, you know, they ask you, where did you come from? You know, just, they ask that to everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Where did you come from? Where are you going? A couple basic questions, stamp your passport, okay. But if they go for that phone and they pick it up,
there's like a red flag.
Like, oh man. They ask somebody to come, and then an officer comes, and then you know that something's happening, and then they say, hey, come here, you have to wait. Because I already know what's happening, I just tell them, hey.
Right at that.
Yeah, right. I just tell them, hey man, I know that we're gonna do a little check here. I already had this happen in, you know, St. Petersburg 3 months ago. Like, they checked everything. It should probably be in the system. And then he's like, yeah, let me just go check everything, and I'll come back and let you know. And the couple times that's happened, it's been 5-10 minutes. Yeah. And there'd been a lot of other people waiting. I can see there's like a special area where everybody's kind of sitting there waiting for the interview. Yeah. And I'm there for like 5-10 minutes, and then the guy just came back out, gave me my passport. So I don't know if it helped that I said that, or maybe he just would have found it himself. Then I only had one time when I actually had to sit down for a long interview. Right. And then other than that, they went back with my passport, came back out 5-10 minutes later.
I think I get the impression that I mean, it happened to me 3 times, and it was all before the conflict in Ukraine and all this political stuff, right? So that was 2018, I think, the last time it happened. But to me, I got the impression that the guy brought me into a room, where I waited and then called me into a room. And he just had a blank, like, sheets from his printer. He would grab, and then he was jotting down notes as what do you do? Where did you study? How do you know Russian? And I was like, there's no system to this. Did you get that same feeling?
Same thing. I don't know. It just, they were writing on something. It didn't look very official. It was like a notepad, or I don't know where that goes. I don't know if to take a picture of that later or something. But I think they did tell me we have to go put this in the system.
Okay. I'm sure they recorded somehow, but it just seemed weird.
They questioned me, and then the main person who was writing things down left, and then also I had to leave and go wait again, and they said we're gonna update the system, blah blah blah. I don't know what they do with it, because it was just the system. And I don't know, but it probably depends on, they're probably just writing down, and then for people who there's no threat, they might just throw it away. But if there is something, then they keep it. I don't know, but it didn't feel super
systemized, official. Yeah, this is mere speculation on what they do after they question you. Let's get back to the money issue. So when I tell people when they're going to Russia, so we get their visa, we start planning their route. Obviously, that's the next question. Then what should I prepare for? We talk about being questioned. Don't worry, it's just, you probably just have to tell them your life story.
Yeah.
And then
I don't even think you have to do that.
I mean, it feels like that to me, because I have so many connections with Russia.
Maybe you have to go back further.
It's like, where did this all?
Yeah, where did it start?
I guess for you, so you spent 3 years?
I've been here for 3 years, So I just have to explain.
Okay, why did you
For me, I was in a relationship with a Russian girl. That's why I kind of ended up here. So that's as far back as my connection
to Russia. I guess most people will be like, well, I met this person, or I have a business opportunity like last year, and that's what I'm exploring, right?